All right, let's turn our attention to the very latest developments in that deadly plane crash from yesterday, the deadliest in more than 20 years. So this is the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, and he was talking about the investigation into that mid-air collision between American Airlines jet and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. Inspectors are now working to determine what caused that crash. For a closer look this morning, we are joined by Keith Mackey. He's a helicopter pilot and a former airline captain, and he is in Ocala, Florida. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Before we get to the complexities at the airport, I just want to ask you about the black boxes that are going to be revealed. So they've been found. They're going to start investigating here. What will you be watching for?
Well, the black boxes will be from the airplane. There are likely none on the helicopter. We'll learn a bit from the black boxes. One is the cockpit voice recorder, and it will contain recordings of conversations between the pilots, air traffic control on the radio, and the flight attendants. So we'll know exactly what they were doing at any time. The digital flight data recorder will control the positions of any of the flight controls or engine controls, so we can see if they were taking any evasive action at all. That'll be a helpful part of the investigation. Sure. Unfortunately, the helicopter probably does not contain that type of device.
Keith, we're showing a live shot right now of both the river and parts of the airport here. There's been a lot of conversation over the years about the complexities at this airport. Those questions came up again yesterday. What can you tell us?
Well, the airport is directly downtown Washington. It's probably 2 miles from the capital of the terminal. And of course, over the years, it's been very desirable to be able to fly into where you work. And consequently, most aircraft don't use Dulles Airport, which is the international airport about 25 miles west of Washington, and prefer this. Unfortunately, our lawmakers have decided recently to increase the range of airplanes that are allowed to land there so they can go all the way out to Seattle and San Francisco now. That just adds to the complexity of the operation by having more flights.
You have flown in and out of this airport hundreds of times, so you've got this really unique perspective on this story. What is it like from a pilot perspective to navigate this space?
Well, the routes in and out of the airport are very carefully described to keep us over the Potomac River. This is for noise abatement. We actually reduce power on takeoff to keep the noise back down. We have certain criteria that we have to meet to stay over the river and to be as quiet as possible. And under normal situations, everything's fine. Now, we've learned quite a bit overnight from various sources about what actually took place. The procedure at Washington is most aircraft take off on the north-south runway, which is the longest one. It's about 6,900 feet. Okay. And the landing aircraft, if traffic is light, can land there also. But in this case, to conserve space, they requested that the American flight land on runway 33, which means that while flying north up the river, he would have to turn to the right to line up with runway 33, which would require a left turn to a northwest heading. Now, the helicopter is coming down the river in the opposite direction along a helicopter route, which apparently has a ceiling, what we call a hard deck, of 200 feet. So he has to remain below that 200 feet level. Now, our pilots are concentrating on lining up with runway 33, which is a relatively short runway. They want to touch down at exactly the right point because they don't have a whole lot of space, and their attention is focused there. The helicopter is coming from their right. The helicopter apparently did not see the airplane and flew directly into the side of it. So we'll have a lot more information on this. We've got information now that the staffing at the control tower may not have been proper, and that the helicopter and airplane were on different radio frequencies and could not hear each other.
Wow.
Additionally, we've heard that the controller handling the airplane, or the helicopter, was also handling some airplanes which should not have occurred. So we've got a lot of information, all of which will probably give us the answers that we need.
With absolutely devastating results, which we've been following since yesterday. Listen, Keith Mackey, helicopter pilot and former airline captain, your insights were invaluable this morning. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome, Anne-Marie. Thank you for having me.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.